Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the very first Classic World of Warcraft MasterClass. I'm joined today by my good friend and colleague, Takanashi. How's it going today, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. So, welcome everybody. This is something new. We've been working on this for a couple weeks now. We're very lucky to have Takanashi here. He has recently completed a freaking religious text for warriors. It is 40 plus pages. It is a massive knowledge dump of all of his years of experience playing the warrior class. And here we are collaborating to try and turn this into a video series. So instead of the really longer formatted type videos, 30, 40 minutes where there's a lot that we're covering, we're going to break it down into more bite-sized chunks, so to speak. So this is going to be a 20-part video series or course, whatever you want to call it. And this is part one. So without further ado, let's just hop right into it. So welcome. We're assuming here that you have just decided to play Warrior in Classic World of Warcraft. Congratulations. You have a long and arduous road ahead of you. There's a lot of work and challenges that will present themselves to you, but congratulations on making that choice. So the agenda for part one today is we're going to do instructor introductions. We're going to go over the syllabus for the course. We're going to talk about our goals and objectives. And then some of the more juicy content will be a basic class introduction. So let us begin. Let's talk about Takanashi. So here are some of Takanashi's experiences in the game. During retail vanilla, he leveled a priest, druid, and warrior to 60, got to rank 11 on his priest, rank 13 on his druid, warrior to rank 3, rated Naxxramas up to 4 horsemen, and also has extensive experience playing on the private servers, ranking warrior to rank 13 and 98%. That was kind of the meme back on OG Nostalrius. Full cleared all content through Naxxramas, played on the fastest clearing guild, and that's pretty much it. So I'll pass it off to you, Taka. Maybe you can just give the people a little bit of insight into your history with the game and history with Warrior.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, in retail vanilla, I was pretty much stuck on the priest because I committed on that, and my guild wasn't dependent on me. But when we stopped playing retail, shortly after Cataclysm was launched, me and a couple of buddies, we started to play on Phoenix project, War Song, and I tried a warrior because I kind of I felt like that was an untouched class for me, and tried it out and loved it, and went on to Emerald Dream, and then hit Nostalrius once it came, and we started ranking there, and I met a lot of friends on Nostalrius. Had maybe the greatest experience ever on World of Warcraft, which is a huge thing since I played it for such a long time. And just that's one thing about this game. I feel like each time I feel like, okay, so it's impossible to achieve whatever we did last time. We had all the fun you can, and somehow you break all records the next time you play, and you meet even cooler guys, and you try more things. And yeah, so this is I feel whatever you did in the past, there's always something that will break your chain. And regarding this warrior guide, I feel like we talked about playing Classic, and I'm not sure if I will continue to play the Warrior, but making this Warrior guide would be this kind of what you might call my legacy, and just to show my love for the game and what the game gave me. And but also it's a major undertaking. You and me doing this together is fucking huge. And also there's a couple of guys we want to say special thanks to that helped me. I was fucking bugging them because regarding the Warrior is so complex, and you have so many things that's hard to break down in theory and whatever, and you have to kind of try them out in reality. And those small, buggy, annoying fucking questions that I threw towards these guys, and just want to say thanks to Laddie, Prefox especially. Thank you guys for helping me so much. Then you got Omak, Steppenwolf, Taladrill, and Storefan for their DPS and just yeah, spreadsheets and yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. His legacy to the community, giving back after the game has given him so much. Good stuff, man. So we're lucky to have you, bro. We're moving on to the course syllabus now. Just really TLDR, guys. We hope that this masterclass that we're putting together will make you a highly proficient warrior player. You're going to know what to expect. You're going to know how to face those challenges that are presented to you, and you're going to know how to overcome them and have a resource, a definitive, comprehensive resource you can turn to and get the answers that you need. So we're going to take a look at the course breakdown now. We broke it up into 20 parts. This is part 1 that you're watching right now. So this is going to be the class intro, a syllabus review, and then we're going to do a basic class introduction. Then we're going to move on to creating your warrior, class mechanics, getting started, professions. We got 2 parts for leveling, warrior as the tank, warrior as the damage dealer. We'll talk about dungeons, world PvP, pre-BG BIS. As many of you know, it's highly likely that Classic will not be launching with the honor system, so that will now for the first time be a thing to talk about. BGs, pre-raid BIS, raiding, buffs and consumables, power spikes through the different patches as we progress through vanilla, rating BIS, gold farming, and then we'll do a little corny graduation at the end. So let's move on to the first kind of juicy thing of the day. Well, the only juicy thing really is the warrior basic class overview. So before we talk about this, guys, just please forgive us if you are seasoned with the class. If you've played warrior before, a lot of this stuff will be kind of redundant. You may know this stuff, but we're assuming that potentially you're a new player, you're new to the warrior class, you're coming back to play Classic, you haven't touched the game in a really long time, so we're going to be covering sort of the really basic stuff as well. So we'll be talking about your identity as a warrior, your roles that you have access to, talent trees, favorite aspects, least favorite aspects, and real quick, how warriors do when it comes to leveling, rating, and PvP. Taka, kick us off, man.
Yeah, so I just have to ask you, what is your kind of feeling when you talk about identity, right? So if
Badass motherfucker comes to mind.
Yeah. So the reason I like to play warrior is the fact that you have a lot of responsibility, and it comes with greatness, and it comes with also the fact if something goes wrong, that you're the first person they're gonna hang in a tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I look at the warrior, and it's everything I like in a character, and I have a lot of common with the warrior and the play style, and I don't know. It's just screams. This is whatever you. I never felt closer to anything than the priest and the warrior. I don't know.
Just to chime in, and that's your spirit, class. This class is freaking your soulmate class. But just to chime in there. So when it comes to identity and warrior, like you said, to piggyback off what you said, it's kind of a natural leadership role baked into being a warrior. Many would say, some might say, that playing a warrior in Classic WoW is the most pure vanilla experience you can get. You start off as an underdog. You have to climb your way up from being like kind of a gimped class when it comes to leveling and stuff, and then you have to overcome so much. Being a physical melee damage dealer, you're going to have high situational awareness. You're going to have to look out for positioning. You're more gear dependent. But this is all kind of baked into the identity of a warrior. And it's you look great. You look really cool. You have great armor sets. And many might say that vanilla WoW was the era of warriors. But moving on to roles. What kind of roles can a warrior mess with, Aga?
Yeah, so you're a hybrid class, right? That means other than being a healer, but a heavy rune cloth can heal for 2,000. So
there you go.
Nothing is. Yeah. But other than that, you have the potential of being amazing front runner in PvP. You got you're the best DPS class in the game. You're also the best tank in the game. You have all these different trees to just, pick your fruit from, and if you hate one thing, then you can move on to the next, and I don't know. You have so many choices, right?
So you're basically a tier 1, potentially best in slot DPS. You're potentially a best in slot tank. You can have success in PvP. But one thing I might add is that, or maybe you can chime in on it, is that's not just going to come super easily to you, though. It's not just going to be some face roll where you're just going to be, putting out the most numbers like a piece of cake and it's a super easy walk in the park. You're going to have to work for it, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing with general in life, as well as in this game, and maybe that's why I identify with the warrior. When you have to fucking work your ass off for shit, and you get used to hardship and hard work, and I mean the success tastes so much better. Like we talked about this, you're this kid in a wheelchair and you're learning to walk and everyone else is running past you, and then eventually you can stand up and you start, you learn how to walk and you start running, and suddenly you realize you can fucking outrun these other kids, right? And it's this sick, amazing feeling, right? And I feel like that this is a game, of course, but it's no different than life. If you have a really hard time to climb up the ladder, once you reach that peak, everything else is suddenly you're used to working hard, you're used to grinding it out, you're used to always having to earn your keep, right? So I guess everything else in the game, even if you think it's very hard work, as a warrior you're kind of getting used to it, like this tree growing up in this windy place, and you just you grow strong, and
you don't have a lot of creature comforts, right? You're not used to throwing up a little teleport and popping over to any city you want. You're not used to having gold fall right into your lap. You're not used to any of this creature stuff, being able to res yourself or self-heal. You're used to walking the hard path. You're walking the hard road, and I think that's
fucking you, right? It's you. That's it. Yeah, no.
I think it makes it sweeter. So when you are able to level fast and you are able to smoke people and still level fast and keep up with the pack as a warrior, it's much sweeter, and people don't expect that necessarily. That's a cool thing about warriors. So let's move on to the talent trees now. So I have a quick slide of it. So there's 3, this, forgive us if this is, redundant, guys. Many of you guys might know this, but there are 3 talent trees for warriors. There's the arms tree, the fury tree, and the protection tree. Now, right off the bat, you might be thinking, okay, arms PvP, fury PvE, DPS, protection, tanking. But it may not be that simple of an answer. So maybe you can share a little bit of color on the trees, Taka.
Yeah, so I mean, if we're talking about PvE, what we knew 15 years ago has, developed a little bit, right? But the cool thing is that, I mean, people are still discovering the awesomeness regarding the different items in the game, and to think of the fact that maybe Blizzard had this idea 15, 16, 70 years ago when they made all these things, and we're still it took us 15 years to discover it. It's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
Just playing around with everything, and I mean, when it comes to the talent trees, I would say that what do you want to do, right? That kind of, especially when you're leveling, what your ambition is, that's the thing that's going to dictate how you want to spec.
And ultimately, these old talent trees, I'm in love with these old talent trees, guys. You can, even to this day, there's still stuff you can mess around with them on, and theory craft. You can theory craft these talent trees for hours and hours on end for all the classes. And there's just so much cool stuff you can do with it. But I think, especially when it comes to leveling, one thing people may not understand is some people may be attracted to the warrior because they want to tank, right? They just really want to tank. They know that's their role, and they may want to level protection. Now, we're not going to tell you how to level. Just, have the most fun you can with the game. But just know that you are capable of tanking in any 3 of these specializations. And there's viable ways of leveling a warrior. This in different ways. You can go Fury, respec the arms at 40. We'll get into that much later. Or you can go arms the whole way. You can do kind of a split of both. But just know you're able to tank effectively as any three of the specs. And even when you get to 60, one might think, okay, you just go super deep protection, and that is going to be the best tanking path. But the meta has evolved in certain ways that that other specs. I'll let you fill this in. Are potentially more viable tanks.
Yeah, and especially on Horde, right? Because you have the potential of much more DPS because of Wind Fury, and having a warrior that can actually produce higher threat per second is super important. And like you said, I mean, people think that you need to go protection to tank in dungeons, but you don't, right? I mean, you're a class that wears mail up to level 39, and once you hit 40, I mean, you're wearing plate. So just the fact that you're wearing that kind of armor, reducing so much physical damage, and I mean, all you have to do is kind of not go into dungeons where the mobs are, 5 levels above you, right? And you'll be cool. So I mean, there's no worry. Don't think about specking protection for leveling unless you really wanna. I would say just go with the spec you have the most fun with. If you want to be effective, we're gonna cover that in the later part, how to be the most effective you can be using different methods. But yeah, I mean.
And just to clarify too, so Fury is actually, even at endgame 60, content when it comes to raiding, the meta has evolved in a way that Fury warriors can tank, correct? What is the reasoning behind that? Just super quick.
I mean, the thing is that when you're specking protection, you get more. I mean, you get more survivability, right? Because you have some more defense and stuff like that. But the thing that you're specking into is longer shield block, like 2-second difference, and you have less rage spent on Sunder armor, and you have another ability. But when you go into Fury, you get so much more damage, you get haste, and you get other abilities. So the reasoning behind it is that, I mean, if your healers can't keep you alive, obviously it's going to be hard for you to dual wield and stuff like that. But I mean, when you have spikes coming in, you can just throw on the shield and just mitigate it, right? And then go back to threat per second.
And fights in vanilla are balanced around threat. It's like the primary way they're balanced around. So being able to put out more TPS, more threat per second, is very valuable.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, especially in the start of the fight, because that's where everyone starts on 0, right? And warlocks and warriors are the classes, and especially on the horde side, that has I mean, you have so much potential of making so much damage, and the thing that keeps you, especially warlocks, I guess, the thing that keeps you down the most is a tank that cannot produce threat per second. Yeah.
Gotcha. So, interesting stuff, man. And then arms, just to finish off with arms. Arms is arms the go-to PvP spec if you're ranking seriously? What does the arms stream mean to you as a warrior?
Yeah, I mean, you can throw around different specs. I've seen a couple of warriors specking into last stand in the protection tree, kind of an oh shit button to stay alive. But I mean, you can throw around different points in Fury or protection, whatever you like, to not die or whatever. But you're definitely gonna spec into Mortal Strike. If you don't have Mortal Strike, there's other classes that are gonna be more viable than you, because the reason you bring a warrior is to be in the face of someone, but the one of the most important things is the reduced healing effect.
Right. So you're putting a lot of pressure on people just with that reduced healing effect. Very, very important.
You're throwing out the kill target, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yep. All right. Cool. So moving on to we touched on talent trees. So real quick, maybe you can talk about some of your favorite aspects and least favorite aspects about Warrior. Then I'll share some of mine.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that we talk about a lot. The challenge of being a warrior. That's both my favorite and my least favorite aspect. But
well said.
yeah, so I mean, I'm the kind of guy that likes a challenge. I like to push myself, and lots of other warriors that work around the same level as us. I guess the thing that keeps them playing a warrior is the challenge, right? Because there's a challenge in everything, but also the wars are huge. You have these things. You can wear every weapon in the game except like wands, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So I mean, Jesus Christ, only that is appealing to everyone, right? I mean, if you're this transmog crazy person, I mean, being a warrior, you have the potential of just filling your bank with everything you ever found, right? Looking crazy, running around in Ironforge and Orgrimmar, I don't know, dancing around. I don't know. The warrior has every potential, and it's just up to you and your imagination, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So the hard work is your most favorite and least favorite. That's kind of an elegant way of putting it. I would definitely echo that sentiment. As far as favorite aspects, like I said, you look really cool. I think the challenge is enticing to me. It's definitely a vanilla rite of passage to level a warrior to 60 legit. It's tough, man, because this ties into some of my least favorite aspects. The majority of you watching this will probably not make it to 60 on a warrior. It's very tough, man. People burn out in the mid-30s before they're able to get their full kit, access to their Mortal Strike and their Sweeping Strikes and Whirlwind and stuff like that. It is a very arduous grind, guys. It is and a lot of people, their eyes are bigger than their stomach, right? In that kind of expression. They think warrior, I'm going to be swinging around this big two-hander. I'm going to be in full Nax gear. And then they're falling asleep at their keyboard and they can't do it. And they're getting ganked 400 times to Stranglethorn Veil and then rest in pepperoni. So it's some of my favorite aspects though. You're tier 1, baby. Like tier 1 tank, tier 1 DPS. Like the game is in your hands. Once you get to 60, man, dude, you're in demand. Like you look great. You're flashy. You're just charging in on the battlegrounds. You're the spotlight. You're the center of attention. I definitely enjoy those aspects of it. Least favorite aspects, though.
They're kind of a Kardashian of WoW community.
Right? In a sense. All right, so let's move on to the least favorite aspects, though, because I personally I'm a little different to you in the sense that Warrior is not my spirit class. I do respect and enjoy Warriors, leveled 1 to 60 in retail vanilla. But so the least favorite aspects, you are very dependent on gear. You're just a dependent person. You're a dependent, man. Like you're a dependent. You're dependent on gear. You're dependent on, gold. You're dependent on people to help you out. You're very dependent. So your self-reliance meter is as low as it gets. You're a melee class. You need the good weapons. You need armor. You need heals. You need peels. You need dispels. I personally,
you're a kid in a wheelchair.
Yeah. So, but when you have the right team to back you up, the getting is good. So, but for me, I value self-reliance really high. I want to be out in the open world, and I want to be able to take care of business by myself. And I value that not only in game, but as an American in general. So playing a hunter, playing a warlock, something like that appeals to me a lot. So, and then the least favorite aspects, it's hard to get gold. It's you're competing for some of the most competitive gear. And the leveling process is definitely arduous. You're going to have to work hard, but that's about it. So moving on to quality of life, and then we'll go into leveling, rating, and PvP. So let's imagine, so leveling is going to suck. We can just agree on that. It's going to pretty much suck. But at 60, what is your quality of life? Do you feel, is it fun? Do you have a good quality of life? What does it feel like to be a 60 warrior, Takanashi?
Yeah, I mean, once I ding 60, it's just like, oh yeah, let's get some fucking dungeons cleared. Let's get that gear. Let's, get a group together and have fun and just, do whatever we want. The world just opened up. That's what I'm feeling. Everything opened up for me. I can do whatever I want. I just need to sort some stuff to, be ready for it, and just having fun going through dungeons after dungeon after dungeon. And I mean, you take those groups and you go to the different places to farm gold, and you build up some buffers so you can buy stuff. Because I mean, for the warriors, like we know or don't know, some of the best gear in the game are actually crafted. So I mean, you need to get gold for that Lionheart helm, and you potentially need gold if you're gonna buy Edgemaster handguards, which are really handy gloves for a lot of warriors. And I mean, just doing all those things, it's like I know exactly what I am gonna do. When I'm about to log into my warrior, I know that I have something to do. The same second I log in and I see that screen boom pop up, I'm in Ironforge or Orgrimmar, whatever, it just feels like, okay, let's go, baby. It's a fresh day. I'm gonna have some fun.
So you have a lot of fun at 60. The quality of life is good. It's once you hit 60, you feel like a massive weight off your shoulders, I imagine, and it starts getting really, really fun. So think of it like an investment, guys. It's really sucky, but if you embrace that suck and just kind of laugh at it, and when you die 400 times in Stranglethorn Vale, you're like, I'm a warrior, dude, I suck. And then when you get to 60, you'll eventually get there. Then you really start to get some of that reward. So yeah, we talked about leveling. It's going to be a pain no matter what way you look at it. Rating and PvP. So we've talked about it as a tier 1, your tier 1 when it comes to tanking and DPS, but I guess the one thing I'll mention is that there's kind of a conceived notion that in the early patches of vanilla, like in Molten Core and stuff, Fury Warriors aren't really, topping the meters. Like for some reason, that was just something that was tossed around, a little nugget a lot. But
I mean, they even said, well, if you're lucky enough and your guild lets you play Fury Warrior, because everyone knows that Fury Warriors aren't really, a good DPS class.
Right. And then you look at some of the data and you see them even in Molten Core, man, they're still topping the meters. So pretty much throughout every patch in vanilla, you're gonna be a tier 1 DPS, and you're gonna have the ability to top the meters if you do so desire, as well as be the de facto premier tank. So when it comes to PvP, Taka, maybe you can describe the warrior's role in PvP, considering you have a lot of experience PvPing as warrior.
So, I mean, as a PvP warrior, you have, the thing is that some classes are really unfortunate because you only need one of them in a pre-made, right? But the warrior, you can bring between 2 and 4, and in some cases even 5, unless it's, against really, really hardcore pre-mates. So you have the potential, to find a spot for yourself in a pre-made, and you have this natural, leader position as I don't know why, but there's people say that it's better if a rogue or whatever is doing it, but in my experience, there's been a lot of leaders who were warriors. I don't know why. And also, like your role is to be, what you talked about earlier, you're kind of in the front line, you're a front runner, you're calling your shots, and you get to kill stuff, right? You're there, and you are deciding who is going to die in the other team. Right?
You are the eye of the storm. You are moving, living, breathing ground zero. That's where all the damage and spells are flinging back and forth. It's high speed. That's the
I remember when Nostarius died. and we, a lot of people started to play on a different server. One of the first things that happened was that this guy just whispered me and say, "Hey man, my name is, I used to play on the Staros. We ranked against you. I played on Horde side. I just wanted to say that every healer on Horde side fucking hates you."
Feels good, man.
I mean, with a wink in the eye, right? But yeah, that was solid feedback, and just knowing that you did your job. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So that's going to be it for this first part, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to move right on to part 2 now. Thank you very much for your time today. We hope you enjoyed it, man, and we'll see you in the next one.